Daddy's home.
Welcome back to It's Not Daddy, It's Papa. I think it's the first time y'all have heard Matteo speak in the opening before I've announced the title of the show. Oh. Are we gonna be, we're gonna speak?
Daddy's home.
What is that?
Daddy's home. It's a song called Poppy's Home by Drake.
Bro, we just spent all of last episode talking about this, and we're back. We're back to the same topic.
Trying to find the way to say
So you do have an
Daddy's
emotional
home.
connection.
I don't. I just think something. Well, okay. When I walked into my college to begin this term, the first
That's
the first thought I had was Daddy's home. That's how I felt returning to these people, and
so you
it's
did have an emotional attachment.
no, not an emotional attachment. A sort of
Assertive.
no, a sort of
No, I
um.
got that. I was just trying to give
No,
you
there was
words.
a veil that you could put on with this music, and I came back in and I was like, "Daddy's home" was the mask, not the mask, the clothing that I was wearing for the day.
I don't remember what you wore.
No, the metaphor, like the metaphorical clothing, like
My
the
bad.
um
My bad.
and the clo yeah. I don't know. Do you ever have that feeling? Do you ever return to something after a long absence? And you don't even have to be an egotistical person. I don't consider
Uh-huh.
myself that egotistical, but still, Daddy's home. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm back and
Yes.
shit's about to.
This happened. Okay. This happened. This was partially part of this was because I've already um I cleared this like I arranged this meeting, but it was really funny because your things
Inside Out.
not inside out. It's like revert. Like isn't it this supposed to be opposite way? The waves are supposed to be at the top. Like that, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. It does it?
I don't think it matters.
Oh, okay.
Probably though. You're probably right.
Um, but it was actually a really funny moment. I arranged with one of our like former teachers. Actually, I don't think he was ever my teacher. He was never my teacher.
Mm.
But like we scheduled a time to like meet up in our former high school, whatever. Just to like talk to him because he was free. Um, I walked in, and the second I opened, like, there's two sets of doors. The first set of doors, it looked very different. There's like a bell on it and whatever, like a fancy ass bell, like with a camera, and whatever. I opened the door and walk in, and like the second I walk into that little corridor, I
Hmm.
was like, absolutely. And then I decided to do the dumb thing instead of just walking in. Pro tip: if you're ever wanting to do something bad in a school building, you could walk by the security desk, and 99% of
Well,
the time they do not
don't
care.
preach that. That's
What? No, I'm just saying, me, as a wonderful, respectful person I was, stopped at the security desk. But I could have continued in
yeah.
and kept that feeling of daddy's home, but I stopped at
Mm.
the security desk. Worst decision I've ever made in my whole life. The next hour and a half was spent justifying reasoning of being in this building.
Good.
Eh, What?
Good. I know that you wouldn't have done anything bad, but I think school security needs to be so intense.
No, I agree.
Mm.
But it was only
Because you introduced
because I
yourself.
stopped at
Somebody
the
with
desk
right, okay.
and introduced myself. If I didn't stop at the desk and introduce myself, no one would have questioned it. But the
That's
fact that
horrible. That's a testament to how
like
bad.
I stopped, told them what I was doing. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to meet up with a teacher. Like this is like X per. Do you have an appointment?" No, I didn't know we needed an appointment. Do you have an appointment? Can I see your ID? Here's my ID. So, have you talked to this person about coming in today? Yes. What time? This time? It's actually 4 minutes later. It's been 4 minutes of you braiding and asking me questions.
Mm.
Um, and it was a mess. And what ended up happening is I left and came back
Mm.
while because this other person was ended up being busy, and then he came and got me. But I was like, yo, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
This is ridiculous. Because I wouldn't have had the issue if I just walked
What do you
right into
look
the
like
building.
standing next to this guy?
This guy is super short. There is a picture somewhere. Like both of
Just
us in
correct me if I'm
suits.
wrong. He's 5'2" and you're 6'2".
He might be
It's
even shorter. I
ooh,
don't know how tall he is.
wow. I don't know. I find that
It's hilarious. It's
that's the first thing
hilarious.
that came into my mind because I thought of the teacher he was discussing. Great guy. I just thought of him as like,
Short.
ish. Yeah.
Yeah. But he doesn't feel short. I don't know. Some people feel short, some people don't. He doesn't feel short.
He has the confidence of a man who isn't short.
Yeah,
Not that it should affect your confidence, but
it
yeah,
shouldn't, but I feel
you
like
can
it
carry
does
yourself as somebody
sometimes.
who's right.
Like, there's someone else that we know.
Mhm.
because of his behavior, you can identify his
As a
height.
short man, and the funny part is like I'm like 3 inches taller than him, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't see myself the way I see him. I see
Uh,
him as a minuscule. Like I'll look
yeah.
at somebody.
I don't think of height. I think of height as personality. I
It
don't know.
is because
Personality is height, I meant.
there's
Personality is height.
a lot of men I know that are like 5'10", 5'11", which is maybe slightly above average, right? And I'm like, that's the shortest motherfucker I've ever met in my
I
life
know.
because they act that way. We have another friend who's average height. Um, who's so insecure.
Roosevelt?
No, oh, that man is not average height. That guy's
I guess huge.
six.
I thought you were talking about Roosevelt.
No, we have a friend who is his name starts with an A.
Home Goods. Okay.
He works at Home Goods. I don't know.
He's pretty tall. I mean, I wouldn't classify him as like a short person, but he acts
He
short.
acts really short and he feels that way. Well, he's not that tall. He wears lifts, which is okay. You know, do what you need to do. But it's so funny. He got so insecure about his height that he ended up going back to back with my brother
Oh,
on a ferry. And I'm just like, bro, y'all are jerking each other off right now. You ever see men do like a pissing contest and it just makes them look worse? Like if you had just stood your own self and been comfortable, it would have been okay.
you want to know what the worst part about that is?
What?
The men who t tend to do that
Hmm.
will claim they are the straightest men ever, but yet you just spent like 20 minutes jerking off your
Touching another
partner.
man, yeah. But
Like,
for reference, this is a
no, I don't know.
guy.
That's always really funny.
It's
It's just the
hilarious.
hypocrisy of like,
But
why
this
are you sucking him off and then claiming that you're not
And also,
gay?
when you go to prove it to like hey, look, I'm not, when he does that thing, like, hey, I'm not short. I'm gonna compare myself to your brother really quick.
Hmm.
You're lying. You're just gonna get exposed. Like, all he did was expose himself. Like, they took their shoes off.
Or you don't, and then, but the people that don't want to do that just don't give a fuck, you
Doesn't
know?
matter. Do you know what I mean? It's so
Like, it
like
doesn't matter.
it's a weird thing in our culture, definitely for sure. And I've noticed that like a lot of really tall people
Uh-huh.
also get bothered by being really tall. So my boss is 6'6", six
Okay.
five,
Yeah.
and he like I feel like he hates it. I
Uh,
really feel like he hates having a looming, towering presence. I don't know.
I feel like I don't, and I'm
You
not
don't
that
hate. Well,
much,
I wonder though what a different reality it is to be 6'6" or 6'2". I think there's one that's a
mm,
lot more looming and scary.
maybe.
Because 6'2", you could still,
Yeah.
you're still
I
like,
also think it might just be personality. Maybe he's a little bit more scarier as a person, so
mm,
that's like what you associate. Like he's also in a position of power over you, so that automatically makes him
right. I think that's part of
scarier.
what it
You know, I
is.
wonder if in places where I am in a position of power, I feel scary to other people. I never think of myself as
Hmm.
scary, but I would love to ask the question to other people and be like, "Hey, do you think I'm scary?"
Intimidating, yeah.
I think part of it also, I don't know. I don't think I am, and I don't think most people would say I am,
No.
but I don't know if it I think it also might have to do with age. Most
Yeah, that's definitely
most
is
of the
part.
places that I um um I'm in positions of power tend to be places where other people are older, but yet in a high hierarchy
You are their
way.
subordinate
No, I am
above
they are
them,
my
but
subordinates,
you're younger than
but I
them.
am younger than them
That's
in a
the
lot of
biggest
times.
flex that you could ever have, but yeah.
I mean,
Um,
it's not even like as a stage manager. I feel like most stage managers, your peak as a stage manager, unfortunately, is like 30 years old. But most of your actors are n not necessarily under 30 years old.
right.
Sometimes, most of the time, actually, when you're doing something, they're probably older
Hmm.
than you. So it's like,
I was talking to my brother about
hmm,
it, about like things that play into people's respect for you.
okay,
One is physical stature, and it's like,
hmm,
you know, if you're not, you just got to work around it, is one of those
yeah,
things. Like, I don't, you know me, I'm not like,
not
we were
built
talking
like
about
that.
6'5", blue eyes, I don't fit into that. But it's a thing of like, you could 100% work around it. It's an extra tool that you have that could help you. So I think like, in a lot of ways, um, it helps you. I think immediately it could help you move around, having a presence of some sort.
Hmm.
But we mentioned a person, and I'm not going to say any illusion or any name to him. We mentioned a friend
Okay.
of who is even taller than you,
Hmm.
and he doesn't really get as through as many doors. So there has to be something. A lot of this,
Well, he
like,
carries himself very differently. I don't like, I don't know. I don't see that person having many, like much confidence in what
mm,
they do. It doesn't even have to be an open confidence. Confidence comes from within. Like you don't have to
yeah, or
show
you
it to
could
other
fake it.
people. You could fake it. Like there's plenty of times where I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm gonna try.
Mm,
I'm just not gonna make other people know that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like a lot of things, I don't know. especially like um like I work in theater. A lot of the times it's like shit that you've never done. It just happened like because every show is so different.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I've never fucking
Attached my left nut
like
to a hook on the
exactly.
wall and had it
It's
drag me
like
up from the bottom.
but sometimes you gotta fucking do that.
Right.
There's been it's like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But it's like the scariest thing to me always is like this is the dumbest thing because 90% of the time it's the exact same. But the sequence to start a show, like to go from pre-show when the audience lights are up to the first cue in the show is usually a sequence of like 6 or 7 called cues. That is by far what I understand from most people that call shows say that this is the scariest part. It's that beginning step.
Yeah.
Even though in most times what it is light goes down on the audience, sound goes down, show begins, or lights go down, sound goes down, announcement starts, lights go up.
Mhm.
Like it's some sort of form of those things happen. Like the lights have to go down on the audience, and pre-show sound has to go down, and show music has to go up, or something similar to that. All the time, no matter what, it is the scariest thing for people to do.
It makes sense though, because it's vulnerable. It's new. You know what I mean?
But even like sequences that are ridiculous, like much harder for people to do, I've heard be like, nope, this is like we saw the fuck did we see together
Re-
that I thought about?
Wait, repeat what the scariest part is one more
The
time, please.
scariest part is the beginning. The
Of a
very
show?
first, yes, the very first 6 cues that are usually probably the same, bringing the audience from like when they walk in into the start of the show by just bringing down the lights and turning off the music. Those are by far the scariest. I've seen
I get that though. Not
there
that I've
was
ever worked on anything big, but like when I think of like
there
the
was
smaller.
I saw an interview with remember we saw Gatsby at Paper Mill Playhouse?
Yes.
Um and do you remember the sequence in this is gonna there's a sequence in Act 2 where they're at the big party and the pyrotechnics are going off and the woman Glinda Gray is singing
Mm.
her song.
Yes.
It's like the big flashy number in Act 2, like when they're in the soldiers' uniforms. Um, that is probably like technically the most challenging. It's either that or like the scene at the end where there's like right before the car crash is
Oh,
probably
okay,
one of
yeah.
the two most technically challenging moments in that show to call. And yet I've watched a video with the production stage manager of The Great Gatsby, currently on Broadway, be like, hey, the scariest part of the show is that opening, not even the most complicated. Like the
Hmm.
person asked in an interview, like, what about the sequence where there's pyrotechnics going off, there's 3 live cars on stage, there's a woman singing, there's some moving scenery, there's changing projections. Nope, that stuff does not scare me, but the opening part scares me.
I guess it's just starting something is scary.
I
But
think so.
that's like with I mean the thing, not that I know a lot about
Mm-hmm.
theater, but what I like about it is both the production of it and the viewing of it. To
Mm-hmm.
me feels like analogous, is that the word I'm looking for? To any part of life.
Yeah.
I can think of so many things where the first step is the hardest part.
Yeah.
I don't know. I yeah, getting your foot through the door of anything is
I think this person just doesn't carry. Like you have to have a lot of confidence to be able to do that, even if you fake it,
mm,
but you just have to. And this person just does not have any of that. And you could tell from the second, like even just like I don't know. Don't ever think I have good posture, but like when you're walking down the street, you still
people
want to
can't
like
tell whether
what?
you do or don't. They can't tell because you're fucking like you know
I mean,
you're,
even outside of that, I feel
yeah.
like even on I don't know, I never sit straight or whatever.
Right. I mean mine's
But
not perfect. Nobody has. I think yours is fine. Mine is not.
I don't know. But it's like even seeing someone walk down the street, like you could tell that he is not a confident person. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on what you exude. Something I realized recently is that confidence is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of anything.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of being self-absorbed is so important, and I've rejected it in recent years. Like, oh, let me not be self-absorbed because I've had moments of too much confidence.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm a douche, and then you lose it. And you notice that personality type in a lot of media. I can't think of too many examples right now, but men who were very confident in the 2000s when they
Mm-hmm.
started their career. Well, I love John Mayer. I know I bring him up all the
Yep.
time. He's a great example. Come in with a bang into like a music scene, and then it burns out because you realize you kind of made a douche out of yourself, and then you become introspective and empathetic and shy and quiet,
Yeah, there's
and
kind of
then
like
your
the
life
weird
doesn't.
fine line.
There's a you went too far into the shy Shaun the Sheep thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know. Confidence and coming in with that bang
Yeah.
and keeping it without being a douche is the hardest thing to do.
That's why sometimes less words are better.
Hmm.
It's not that like um there like it's happening like right now as we speak. I mean, none of these people are gonna watch the episode, but I got offered to do like a bunch of shows all at the same time.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to accept you any of them. Not because they aren't good opportunities, it's just because I'm working on something else right now, and I could probably do both at the same time, and I kind of want to, but there's also like six other both at the same time opportunities, and it's like, how do you
Hmm.
pick? What you do is you just don't tell them everything, It's like
Yeah.
you tell them that you're working on something else and that you're gonna figure it out. And you let them do the talking, and through their talking, you'll be like, oh, I actually don't want to do this. I actually don't. And it's like that's the way that it looks very confident because you're number one, not going and being like, hey, I'm gonna do this right off the bat is very confident. Playing that little hard to get
Hmm.
is a lot more confident. Feels weird, but because there's less of that submissive quality of like yes. Like I don't know. Sometimes yes is very submissive. Um, but then you have the confidence of like to not I don't know, the fact that like you're not saying yes automatically is very confident.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know exactly where that was going,
No,
but
I know what you mean though, and like I've said no to a
hmm
lot of people, and now I'm
yeah.
like, oh, let me start saying yes to the world around me. So
Uh-huh.
but it
But you
doesn't.
could pause. You don't have to be like yes right
You
now.
could pause it.
You could
Yeah.
play a little bit hard to get with everything. Like like you want. I don't know. It sounds fucked up, but you want to like have other people sometimes do your like what you want them to do. It's like
Hmm.
sometimes you don't want to reject something,
I do too
right?
much of the work for people. Have you seen that? Like when I
Yeah.
want something to be,
Yep.
or I want to be viewed in a certain light, I do all the work for them.
Yeah. But you don't have to. You could just like if someone. I mean, we have this issue all the time. Like if someone doesn't want to reach out and connect,
Excuse me. It's still on at least.
Um, if someone doesn't like want to reach out and connect, we tend to like jump and be like, hey, then like why don't we reach out and do the connection? But we don't have
Mm.
to, It's like it's one of those things. And you'll be able to tell a lot more if
By
you
letting them
don't
instead of
and
coloring
let
it with my
them,
own.
yeah. Like that's something that I'm like, well, what would happen if I don't say something for like a day? And like where does this lead? It's like I was working with someone that I would constantly check in with all the time, every day. I was like, am I like is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Is this good?
Mm.
Every day. And then I was like this is very exhausting. What if I don't?
Mm.
Um, what if I wait for them to reach in and be like, hey, how are you? Like has this like whatever. And number one, that was more healthy for me because number one, I'm not doing all that. And number two, it allowed them to show that what I was doing was important and like was being reviewed and like was being done.
Right.
So it depends.
Yeah. I mean, also, it comes with like wanting new things. I find when I see something I like
Hmm.
that I want to go for and
Yeah.
do, I put all my pressure lately. I used to let things come to me.
Hmm.
It's funny because there's like a confidence that you have when you're young that I don't know if it ever comes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Letting things come to me was something I used to do, which I got to get back on that shit.
Hmm.
Now I'm like, oh, I need to introduce myself to this person. I need to go to apply to this, but bro, sometimes not acting is better.
Yeah.
Sometimes acting is better. There's a fine line between knowing how to decide between, we've talked about this before, action versus just let it,
Hmm. Let
let
it
it
be.
be. Wow, that's hard. That's always hard for anybody.
Yeah. And it's like one of those things that's like, how do you know when an action's needed?
You'll
No,
know. Deep down, you'll know.
deep down you'll know.
You'll
It's
always
like
know.
something that like it a lot of the times it's like it's in the back of your head
Hmm.
and then you're like, no, I don't want to or like whatever. Because most of the time you don't want to because it's something that pushes you outside of a comfort zone. Like the body physically just doesn't want to go outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
You know, most of the time it's something like that. But then sometimes you just got to be like, hey, I'm gonna do it and it's gonna make me uncomfortable, but it has to get done. Because
Hmm.
there's a point of like you never want to stagnate as a human being.
Right.
And I feel like that's like what you're talking about, like where you have found yourself like stagnating.
Yeah. No,
Maybe.
that's, yeah. That's,
And you don't want that. Like no
no.
matter what, you want to keep evolving in some facet of your life. Yeah. You know,
Hmm.
when you chart it out on a trajectory, you want to always be going up. That's with anything. It's like if you're running a business, you want your numbers to be going up. Like no matter what you're doing, you want something to be going up, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like it sucks to be like life is a business, but like yes, that's kind of what it is. You want your numbers to be
No.
like you want some
Yeah.
facet of something going up.
Also, sometimes you have to put the wheels in motion to get
Hmm.
those things to go up. And I realized like, oh fuck, I need to get the wheels in motion. So I've been doing things to get the wheels in motion
Hmm.
and doing things I wouldn't normally do,
That's how you
like
become good.
joining college clubs and stuff like that. That like if I young high school me, it would have been like clubs, fuck clubs. And then I realized I was doing it anyway, just without knowing that it was clubs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
but
that's a
it's important, you know.
form of action that I'm definitely taking. And then another form of action that like I'm terrified of, and I haven't actually
Hmm.
experimented much with it, is talking to people that I haven't warmed up to. Like
Yeah.
somebody I'm not in a club with, someone who sits on the far other side of my class,
Hmm.
a professor that I'm a little uncomfortable with, stuff like that. Oh God, I suck at. I'm working on it,
Yeah,
but
that's scary. But I think, um, like I don't know, with other people, it's always hard.
mm,
But in terms of like professors, it's the easy option is like they always have to create a space where people have to come to them,
office
like
hours,
office
yeah.
hours and whatnot. So like I managed to meet like a history professor I really like through office hours in like a big lecture class because they created a welcoming environment. Other people, I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue how to do it.
Mm.
Like I don't like how do you walk up to someone random
Let's
and
say you wanted to be friends with somebody. His outfit was
yeah,
really cool. And
that's
he
a
was on the
really
far
hard
side
thing
of your
to
life.
do.
No, this is what I'm coming to terms with
Yeah,
recently. Or like for me,
you should come up and do that, but that's a really hard thing to do.
it's really difficult. There's somebody who had the craziest fits last term.
Uh-huh.
He had the nicest outfits, and I'm like, I want to be friends with this guy. Never spoke to him. There's somebody in my lecture class now who does this really cool thing where she only does it to the back two rows,
Okay.
but she'll sit with a different person each day.
Okay.
And then she'll turn her computer towards them and show them the bright space, which is
Hmm.
what our type of school uses
Yeah.
for grades. And she'll ask them a question about the syllabus or something like that without like it's the same question every
Yes.
day just to network. And this is somebody that I could sit in a back row and wait for this because I think
Hmm.
that's so cool. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to meet new people. So I'm like, oh, let's right.
Hmm.
But
But
I don't think the correct answer is to be like, oh, I want this person to show me her syllabus the same way she does. The
so,
correct form of action
uh-huh.
is to go up to the person. I can't do it. I just don't know how. It's really
Yeah.
scary.
Question.
Hmm.
This is something that I've saw online actually. I was watching like a YouTube video and it was um like a am I the asshole type like reading things.
Okay, yeah.
And this was really interesting and it's actually a question that I've been meaning to ask you, but it's like this idea of like like it was about what the hell was it about? It was about meeting a girlfriend under the pretense of a lie.
Okay.
Or of something that didn't exactly happen. Basically, it was like this person was in a bar and like definitely did not know
Hmm.
this woman that he was like gonna walk up to or whatever, and walked up and pretended to know someone that she knew. Right?
Oh my God, that's
Pretended to
yeah.
know someone that she knew. It just happened to be that whoever he made up, she actually knew, or some like there was a lie, but it led to a some sort of
I
truth.
know exactly what he did. I know you from Adam's blank, or pick a
Yeah.
name, like, oh, you're my boy John's
Yes.
homegirl.
It was
And
something
then there actually was a homeboy John.
it
Okay.
was something like that. Um and they like and the Reddit AMA was like it was no, it's not AMA. I don't know what the acronym is, but the Reddit thing was like it's been like 4 years. I want to propose to this person. Do I have to disclose to them that this is a lie? That I met
The
you under a
best
false
part
pretense?
is that how do you go 4 years though? Because then doesn't the mutual friend come out eventually and
It might have not been, it might have been a little bit deeper. There was like a level of like there's actually no, like it is perfectly like this
there was
person,
no way to prove it
there
wrong?
was no way to prove it.
Maybe the guy passed away. Okay, wow. Or moved away.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know what the right answer is. I was
I think
sitting
the
there, I
right
was like,
person after 4 years would be okay with the fact that you used a lie to go up to them.
is it?
I,
Is it okay?
it's not okay, but after 4 years and you're in love, if I was in love with somebody and they said they went up to me and lied to me, to get me to like them.
I don't know. I
After
feel like
4
I've
years, I'd be
heard
like,
this
okay, it's
question.
hilarious. Like I would be like, it's fine. I don't think it's that
Hmm.
bad of an issue.
Okay. Now, what if you what if you exacerbate that issue now? Like, what if it's okay? What if it wasn't that what if you met under the right pretenses,
Hmm.
but let's say they loved, I don't know, give me something like a hobby someone would have.
Knitting.
Knitting. Let's say they love knitting and you absolutely hated knitting, but then you
Isn't
decided
this the
to
plot of La La Land? Doesn't she hate jazz and he wants to start a jazz? I've never seen it.
sort
Okay,
of,
yeah.
not really. But like, and what if you hate knitting, you despise it actually, and you tell the person that you love knitting and that you're like a master knitter or
We do
whatever.
this all. People do this all day,
I
even
know,
on a
but
subconscious level.
would it be wrong in the future? Like it's to lead
No,
to a
because
good thing.
then the goal is to learn how to fucking like knitting. Like it's okay.
Like I don't know. Part of me is like deep down, I'm like, no, it's fucked up, it's wrong. But the other part of me is like, but it leads to a net positive.
This is the thing, right?
It's like how many wrongs lead up to make a right?
Oh boy, it's complicated. And this is the th so one time I was
And
in the
this is
hop I
great.
was in the hop shop.
Uh-huh.
It's a bar on set, whatever. If you can call it a
Love
bar.
the hop shop. It is a bar.
And I went up to this girl. I was so drunk, and she was just taking shots in front of me. So I'm like, "Oh, we're both drunk, cool." And she sat down right next to me. I was so
Hmm.
out of
Yeah.
it. I was like, "Why is this girl saying like she hates me, bro?" And then I decided to say, "You look familiar."
Which is a lie.
She didn't look well. No, she didn't really look familiar.
Which is a lie. You didn't know
And then
this
I said
person.
to her, "Where do I know you from?"
You don't know her.
She said, "In your dreams, you've seen me before." And I was like, "Okay." And then we ended up having an interesting discourse. Is that a word? Discourse?
Sure.
Series of events. And it like it started the conversation. Do you know what I mean?
But like it was a
Was it
net
an honest
positive that came out of
was
it.
it an honest conversation starter? No, she doesn't look familiar, but how many men and women alike go up to people that they find attractive and say that they look familiar? That's a big one. You look
I know.
familiar is a big one.
And that's it. Well, I feel like that's less of like whatever. That's like
Mhm.
you could look familiar. It doesn't necessarily
It's
have
also
to be a lie.
subjective what familiar means.
It's so subjective. It doesn't have to be a lie. But what if it was a flat out lie? Like that's the thing. I'm like I never know.
A lot
Like
of people go to bars and create whole fake names and personas. Like I have a friend who, when she goes out, has a fake name.
is it wrong?
I don't really think so. I think you're entitled to a little
I
bit
don't
of
know. I'm asking you.
tomfoolery.
There's I don't think I don't
I don't
actually
really,
have an
it
opinion.
depends
I
on
don't
the
know if I
lie.
have an
If you're
opinion.
married and say that you're not, that's fucked up. If you have one career and say you have another, fucked up. However, so many people do that. They lie about where they work and what they
But
do.
is
How much of it though is
Mhm.
protecting your privacy too? That's another.
That's another aspect of it. But even outside, I don't know. Like I'm thinking outside of like these like
Hmm.
technicalities, protecting your privacy, whatever. Like it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be very insignificant, but it's like how many wrongs lead up to a right? Like the net benefit is there. Like that like this person who asked this Reddit question is planning to propose to the girlfriend. Like
Hmm.
there's a benefit there to the lie, but it was a lie. There's no way. There's like no way she could find out the truth. Like the truth doesn't like the truth is relative
I
only
don't
to
understand
him.
why he didn't just say it earlier. Like,
I don't know.
why don't you just come clean in an
I
hour?
wish I like
Oh,
was
I
able
lied
to
to you. I
read
really liked
this.
you, by the way.
I wish there was like a way to read it and like I don't remember.
Because I saw a
I saw
clip
it
of
up
this
with
guy go
YouTube
up to a
video.
girl, say, "Hey, do you know where the library is?"
Hmm.
And she gives him directions to the library, and they end up walking together. And it's staged. It's just stupid brain rot, like TikTok or Instagram reel. I'd be watching in my bed at 2 a.m. And then at the end, she shows him the library, and he's like, "I'm not gonna lie, I knew where the library was. I just thought you were really cute." And she's like, "Oh, haha." Like, you know what I mean? Like, he could have just been like, "Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea who our homeboy John is. I just want to go up to you." And that's flattering and endearing in its own right. Like, I don't really understand why this had to be such a big.
I don't know.
I would find it flattering. Imagine like somebody who's like randomly decided to pick, let's
I
use.
think it happened to be because the per like whatever the conversation was, there was more to this. I wish I had the whole
Hmm.
thing. There's more to, I feel like from what I remember, I watched this. I like watch YouTube videos to go to bed, so I'm like half remembering this. But it was like something around lines of like she responded super positively to it, and like she knew who the person was,
Hmm.
and it led down this like whole like oh, so you know John, so you know like Ryan, so you know Richard, and all the guy was just like yeah yeah duh like obviously under this like thread of like the whole conversation was about this lie
Why do we only connect with people though
through
that are in
lies.
our network? It's such a problem. It's such a fucking problem. We only connect with people that are in our network, and then
It's because of LinkedIn.
It's LinkedIn's fault. Yes, it
It's
is.
because okay. I mean, maybe it exists in other places. It's because of social media, really, that's what it is. But it's like the idea of like you never get suggested accounts unless you have mutuals with them 90% of the time. Like outside of a
But this is the
brand.
idea of going up to a new person versus asking your homeboy, set me up. You know what I mean? I think less people should be asking their homeboys to set them up and should be branching out, speaking to new people and
They
not all the time.
should,
But
but
it's
it's
so
hard.
hard. I don't know how to do it.
It's hard. You never like you don't know. And the other thing is that people are so connected that it's like you actually do know them. Like deep down, I'm like the have you've heard the idea of 6 degrees of
Of
separation?
course.
You
Yeah, of course.
first
We've lived it.
like you know everyone. Like I'm sorry, like you know everyone. I'll tell you something really funny. Nee. We like I know personally one like I am less than
Hmm.
it would be it would be me to someone else within 3 degrees of separation to name a celebrity that has worked for Disney. Any celebrity that has worked for Disney.
RDJ.
Less than 2 degrees of separation from our DJ.
Okay, that's cool.
I could call up on my phone.
Yeah, I'm five
I
people
could
away from Mussolini. So
I could text someone right now and probably be able to get
his phone
like
number.
like a contact to
RDJ. Okay, that's pretty
which is
cool.
insane. Like name any celebrity that has probably worked for Marvel or Disney or Star Wars.
Scarlett Johansson, please.
Absolutely. Like legitimately. Like I'm not even joking. I know someone who has worked with all these people.
That's sick.
Like you know a lot more people than you think. And think about it. That's one, two, three, four. It would be one, two, one, two, three, three, three
Mhm.
degrees of separation from you and Scarlett Johansson. I'll tell you, there's probably a faster line.
Right.
There's probably a line through Colin Jost
Oh yeah, because
because we live on Staten Island, and I know 110%. I know someone who
oh, you've met
like
Pete Davidson, who's probably
okay,
also
but
met
I
Scarlett
don't even mean
Johansson.
that. I don't
Okay.
even absolutely they've met, bro. But I don't even I mean like physically people that you can call up right now.
Right. Okay.
Because yes, through that, like yes, we know everyone. Like that's not a fair. Like you've seen them on the street. That's not a
Yeah.
fair degree of separation counter. I mean like a physical like
Hmm.
I like I could call up someone on the like I'm confident. I actually think I know someone who might know Colin Jost. I know Stacy Jost is the executive producer for Impractical Jokers. He's the brother of Colin Jost.
Oh, okay.
And I know people who know Casey. So it'd be like
Mm.
a few people, but less than six,
Wow.
you know? So it's like, you know so many people. You know, so, and I mean, we live in New York. We know so many more people. It's like, I imagine we lived in fucking bumfuck Kentucky, where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, like your
So then
brother,
if
your
there's
sister,
already a
your
little bit of
mule.
familiarity, why don't we just speak to people? But at the same time, it's just really hard. You don't want to bother anybody. You don't want to, you know,
It's just like PC culture that like you're afraid to like do something
disrupt.
wrong
I don't
to
know if there's
disrupt the
anything really
status
wrong.
quo. Like that's what it is. It's like the status quo is that you've never talked to this person. You want to disrupt the status quo by talking to this person.
I was standing and there was somebody I wanted to speak to the other day, and my brother was like, "Why won't you?" And I said, "I can't. I physically cannot." And it was such an interesting thing. I was like, "Why not?" It's so weird. It's really weird.
It's so trippy
It's so fucking trippy. And then you could sit in the
because
same
there's so many
classroom as
people.
someone every day too and not speak to it. It's so weird.
There's so many people. And I think a lot of people that go to like conventions probably feel this because like imagine you are like the biggest fan of like Marvel and then
Hmm.
like someone from Marvel walks by at like Comic-Con.
Hmm.
And it's like how many people would talk to him? Duh. But how many people
Be
like
scared because they don't
be
want to bother
scared?
him. Yeah.
Or like like even on a smaller level of like you might know someone and they might not even know that many people. They're probably honestly really happy that you reach out to them,
Hmm.
you know? But still, you're gonna be afraid to walk up to
Well,
them.
it's also the fear of like it not working out. It's also a fear of yourself. The fear of
Yeah.
embarrassment afterwards. Here's a great example. Can you pronounce Eva what's her last name?
Even Noblezada.
Eva Noblezada.
Yeah, we met even
I
Noblezada.
told her she did great in The Great Gatsby.
And we met Sam Pauly and even like when it was in Paper Mill, were
Is it
watching
one more time?
Eve Noblezada.
Noblezada?
Noblezada.
Noblezada?
Noblezada.
Noblezada.
Yeah.
Evesy is what I'm gonna call her for now because I can't. Oh, Eve's N.
She's from Hadestown. I mean, she did
Um.
Miss Saigon. She just
Anyway,
wrapped up
yeah, right. Like
The
she's
Great
just
Gatsby.
whatever. Like I thought she did. I enjoyed Hadestown and I enjoyed The Great Gatsby. And I see her and I'm like, okay. I told her she did great. And whatever. Just congratulated her
We
after her
didn't
show.
even take a picture with them.
Did not ask for a picture. I just said, hey, you did great. She gives me a look of disgust. Points at her friend who was also in the show, whom I did not recognize because the friend had a lot of aesthetics and makeup and hair
In the show.
in the show. So when I
Sam
saw her
Polly.
after the show, I did not recognize her and I wasn't thinking about her.
Also,
So
she's a lot small. Like no offense to her, but she's a lot smaller of a like actress. Like she has her only big credit was Great Gatsby, which was not a big credit at the time because they were doing an out of town production of it. And then she was in Six a Musical.
I really just didn't
That's it.
recognize her or whatever.
She was not. She's not a
And
famous
then Eva
performer,
goes, okay, my friend did great too.
which she did.
She
But
did, but
like,
why can't you just take the con? And now I'm like, all right, fuck it. Why do they even walk up to you? Like you're, you know, a
yeah,
nasty person, for lack of a better word. Really quite nasty. I don't know, but
no, I do agree. Like, did not respond the way she should have. Just like that was really bad. Especially imagine we were recording or something. Imagine we put
mhm,
that
it
up
was just
online.
so nasty. Also, she knew we
Just
were students at the time. Like you have students coming to see you and saying, you're like, what the what?
there's a difference between like, and this has been a big thing recently because the idea. Have you ever heard of the idea of stage dooring?
No, fill me in.
So basically, when performers do shows, they need to leave through what is called the stage door, which is
Mhm.
a door on like the side of the theater that like crew members enter in because they're not going to be entering the same way that you enter in most of the time. And a lot of people like to hang out by the door and wait for their
Oh, which is
performers to
annoying.
come
Yeah.
out and do it. And it's not required for a performer to come out of the door and sign autographs. Most of the time, it is no like now like with modern conveniences, even though most theaters are really old, there's ways to get out of there without the door. But
Right.
like there's a lot of celebrities on Broadway, but there was like Kit Connor came he's doing Romeo and Juliet right now. You know who Kit Connor is, right?
Yes.
So he one night walked out of the stage door and decided he wasn't like most nights he comes out and he signs stuff.
Mm.
But for whatever reason, this day he didn't want to sign stuff. He walks out, goes into his car, he sits down, drives away. Someone ended up following him home that night and then wrote about it online, posted about it online
Oh my God.
saying that they followed him home and he did not give an autograph and he was such a nasty person. Whatever. No, you followed this fucker home.
That's fucked up.
Like
Yeah.
that is so fucked up. And these instances have been happening more and more of
Mhm.
performers getting assaulted at like these doors and like it is not in their contractual right like obligation to come out and sign your autograph or take a picture. A
Right.
lot of them do because it's fun for them to connect like they want to connect with people. Sometimes he was probably just not feeling well that day. You
Mhm.
know, like he usually comes out and talks to people, whatever. He probably was just not feeling well that day. It doesn't matter what the reason was. Like
Right.
he's a person. It doesn't matter. There's days that you don't want to talk to people. There's like it doesn't change. Why'd you sigh as if I was like singling
It
you
was a
out?
yawn, not a not a
Oh, I
sign.
was like, damn, I'm not singling you out as like you're
No,
the only
it was
person
just
who
a
doesn't want to
yawn.
talk to people. But like, and it's like we never did that.
It's a
Like,
skill, a life skill though.
mhm,
Talking to strangers.
yeah,
Oh my God, that I think anybody could benefit from.
everyone, not anyone,
Everyone.
everyone.
My I keep bringing up my brother,
Hmm.
but he's a good example. He told me the other day that he spent a couple years going through a very tough time
Yeah,
of like isolation, and now he's happy, right? And he's in a nice relationship and has good friends, but he spent a lot of years doing the opposite of that, like not very little social interaction. And he told me, he's like, if I just had the one skill
of social interaction.
of not social interaction with friends, but of being able to go up to strangers and tell them that I want to get to know them, whether it be for dates or for friends or whatever. He said, if I could do that one thing,
That would.
that would have made those years so much easier. And I wouldn't have suffered the way I did. And I thought about it and I was like, I don't have that one skill. And if without that one skill,
Does anyone have it though?
I don't think so. And it's like, I want to be the person, I want to be able to do it.
Like, is it just a skill that you can't have?
It
Because
reminds me of the ring in Lord of the
yes.
Rings. If you want to hold the ring, you shouldn't hold the ring.
Hmm.
Like Sam should have carried the ring because Sam didn't want the ring. Frodo wanted the
Yeah.
fucking ring. He shouldn't have had it. It's like if you're abusing this ability to be charismatic and speak to random people, you shouldn't have it. I think it's a good thing that I don't have it.
hmm I think like it's really funny because if you ask certain people, some people say I'm the most charismatic person they've ever met. And I get a lot of stuff that I really shouldn't be getting. There used to be a time where there's a Starbucks by our old high school
Hmm.
that would walk in and we're able to get a free drink
Right.
from just the random like barista. They're not supposed to do that. I work at that Starbucks. I know you're not supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But this was years before I started working there. I would walk up and be able to do that. It happens all the time, and people are like, and there's a group of people, um, that I know that are gonna be like that would say that if you ask them, would be like, you are the most charismatic person we've ever met.
Oh wow.
But I'm like, that's not true.
It's
Like I don't know. So
hmm.
it's like
Social skills
it's
are also
also
dead.
it's also so subjective.
Yeah, I would say social skills are dead, and to have them
Uh-huh.
is to be like a dodo bird. You know, the
Yeah.
last of them, they're gone,
Uh-huh.
but to have
Yeah, I think it's
oh,
also just some people don't have warm personality. Like some people you don't want to walk up to. I feel like I don't know. Me and you have personalities enough where like most people are not too afraid to walk up to. We always be walking around like Manhattan, and there'll be like some couple like looking for a third, like trying to
staring at us.
like
We
staring at us. You know, it's
something,
because we have
but
like a
also
very
we're so
inviting
not
personality.
used to it. There, we were walking around Soho,
hmm
and this very intimidating woman. I don't know if you remember.
Yes,
She was
because this
gorgeous.
was like the end of your life.
I was the end of my life. I was so terrified because she smiled at me that I literally made a sharp left off of the block. And I'm like, I'm the problem too, because somebody smiled at me. I could have smiled back. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I didn't know how to react to any little bit of like a stranger smile. You know what I mean?
Human warmth.
Uh,
Human
That was
warmth.
a very warm persona that that person had, and I was like,
Yeah.
I could have interacted back, but I was scared and I didn't want to. So I think we're also so everybody. It's a catch 22 because we're all so deprived of it
Yeah.
that now nobody knows how to do it. Even if you want to be not part of the problem, you're part of the problem. Um,
I don't think there's any solution because like naturally, um, like anthropologically,
Fuck you,
um,
fuck
we
you
are
for that.
wired to like avoid the unknown,
I
like think about it. Like you, caveman, you would never fucking go out of your cave at night to fight, like for the possibility of meeting someone because you know that there's dangers out there. You know that there's probably some random like crazy person trying to murder you, like right
mhm.
outside of your cave. There's a possibility. There's probably more harm than there is good in outside of your cave. So you don't want to venture outside of your cave.
I believe there's more good than I get your
But
metaphor.
yes, yeah, I was
We
gonna
are
say,
stuck in our own little caves, but I think if we broke
but
out of them, there's more good than there is
yeah,
bad. But I just don't know how to break out of my cave.
yeah.
No one does, is what we're
I
trying
don't
to.
think anyone does. But that's what I was gonna say is that like technically, there's probably more good than there is harm. But you're only ever gonna hear about the harm. It's like, do you ever hear about good things happening in the news?
No.
It's the same thing.
The
It's
theme
like,
of my life right now, though, is to get out of my cave.
yeah,
So
I think that's a fun challenge for everyone. Get out of your caves.
it might end up embarrassing myself a couple times, but what are you gonna do? But who
Who
cares?
cares? Like,
If you
what's
remember the love that is in your cave, you're not gonna get too upset by what you can't
because you could
find
always come
outside of your
back to
cave.
your cave.
If you forget that, sometimes what I do is I have object impermanence. So if I forget that I have a cave and friends and people that care about me and like family and stuff like that, and I'm having a day where I'm on my own
That feels like it's the end of the
and I
world.
want to do something brave and that thing doesn't work out, I'm like, oh my God, that was the only thing I had. I don't have anybody, you know what I mean?
hmm
And then you get a text from a friend or from your family, and you're like, oh, I remember myself now. I know who
Yeah,
I am. That thing didn't matter, but there's a moment in time where if you don't see it around you, you're like, oops,
yeah.
I have nobody. And that's not true, obviously, for anybody, I don't think.
But yeah, it's just like remembering that you have a cave to come back to.
Hmm.
That's the thing that's scary.
Add to your cave, yes, by going out of it, but don't forget that it's there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I fucked with the last 5 minutes of this episode.
Yeah, I don't
That was
know
pretty heat.
what time it is, but I think it's time to wrap up, whatever this
That
is.
was a really good point to end this on. And
Yeah. So we're gonna end it here, whether we're at time or not. I think we end here.
go out of your caves,
Leave your caves
find something to bring home, like a cat with a mouse, or
and share with the people in your cave.
share with the people in your cave. Don't abandon your cave for a new cave. Just keep adding to your cave. I need to go out of my cave to find things. There
But
are
you,
things that need to be added to my, for sure.
yes.
I don't know where to
But
find them, but I don't I won't find them in my cave. My cave's clean. When you have a clean cave that has all the, I have a
yep,
4K TV in my cave, a metaphorical, I probably have a real one, but like a metaphorical 4K TV,
all
and
right.
just whatever I need, all my provisions. Ain't no one,
But that's a comfortable life. But you
it's
don't want.
so
It's
comfortable.
where
Like the
you start
mailman doesn't even know
stagnating.
where to find me.
That's
The
where you start
FedEx guy doesn't even know where to find me.
stagnating.
Right.
All I'm
Because
hearing is
it's
that
so
beep beep
comfortable.
beep. It's like the fucking like heart dial.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
one time you
flat.
don't want to be a flat line.
It's a flat line. Like I'm telling you, I have my cave is so comfortable that the FedEx man can't find me.
Yep.
He don't know. And it's like one of
But you
those things.
know, you could find us on Spotify and YouTube,
Instagram,
Instagram,
TikTok.
TikTok.
Oh well, it was
That's it.
tomorrow. Hit us with
Um,
a follow.
Hit us with a follow, hit us with a like, hit us with a subscribe,
Please
hit it
comment, actually. Speaking of, go out of
lots
your
of
cave and leave a
comments.
comment.
You know, leave us some comments, build a community. There's a cave waiting for you. It might be down there.
Meet up
Down
at
there.
Washington Square Park tomorrow.
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 When is this episode going out? Who knows? But tomorrow.
Whatever the relative tomorrow is for you.
Go to Washington Square
I'll
Park.
probably be sitting with it's cold right now, so the fountain's off. I'd just be sitting there, staring at the cold.
You might be able to find more members of your cave. Anyways, good night. Bye bye. See y'all next week.